I love this. I love this. I want to read this out on air. So this is the Radio Brisbane. Oops, hang on. Let me get rid of that comment. There we go. Radio Brisbane. Parent Sally Branson was speaking with Alan Fanning on Drive about other parents who have decided to help their children breach the social media ban for people under the age of 16 that comes into effect on December 10th. The quote from this parent is, "People are looking for VPNs. This is law and legislation. If you're saying to your child, I will help you circumvent this, you are saying your child is better than the law. Damn straight, because good people break bad laws." Yes, shameless product placement, shameless merchandising. There is a massive civil disobedience movement brewing around the under 16 social media age ban, and I think it's brilliant. Bring it on.
Yeah, I think so too. I've seen a lot of articles talking about how social media has been wonderful for families, and this is going to force them to flee. And, whether that's because they've built an audience online or the kids gotten into YouTube. There's a kid influencer. I think that's what you call it, like a kidfluencer or something like that, reviews toys and gets like 30 million views a month. And the kid's 9 years old. Set him and the family up for a generation. Social media certainly has some evil elements to it. I will never deny that. But it's also been wonderful for so many reasons. And I just think this is going to backfire. And like anything our government does or tries to roll out will be a spectacular disgrace. But G mentioned to me when he came home. Apparently, Anthony Albanese was on Kyle and Jackie O show this morning. And Kyle and Jackie were pressing him on how the social media ban will work. And he kept talking around, like dancing around it. And Jackie pushed him like 3 times.
I read a bunch of the quotes, and he can't answer it because he has no concept of how the internet works. But actually, more than that, even the tech companies themselves can't answer it. They were pressed again late last week. It must have been 3-4 days ago. They still cannot give specifics on how they are going to go about complying with this legislation. They keep on saying, we've got teams working on it. The lawyers are looking at the legalities of it. The IT people are looking at the technicalities of it. We're still working it out. What are we now? We're less than a month away from that, from the magic day when it's all supposed to happen. I've said all along, and it's been really funny watching most of the reputable media come around to my position. There's still a few outliers that are going out there for clicks. I saw another video went viral about 2-3 days ago predicting end of the world kind of apocalypse stuff on January. For some reason, they were saying December 27th. I didn't understand why, but December 10th is when this comes in. This is not going to affect most people on day one. The vast majority of us will not be aware that this has been switched on. If we notice anything at all, it will be only that we perhaps think, oh, it's a bit quiet on the internet today because maybe 5% of accounts have been affected or something like that. The vast majority of people, because of how long you've had your account or because of the kind of things you do with your account, will be automatically verified as over the age of 16, right? And you will not even be aware that it's happened. The social media companies will 95% of the accounts will get cleared instantly. The 5% left, they will then apply more scrutiny to. And yes, a portion of those may end up in a situation where their account is suspended until they provide government issued ID or something like that. And that shouldn't happen. I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying for the vast majority of us, we are not going to notice this the day that it comes in. However, sorry.
I just thought this comment was funny. Kids should be searching up things like tax and elderly diseases, and they won't think they're under 16.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit worried about my YouTube account because apparently I watch an awful lot of Curious George and Paw Patrol. So, I'm a little bit worried that the AI might get tripped up by that. I'm not quite sure. But what's interesting to me is the Karen, Julie Inman Grant, has not applied for an extension to her contract. She said that she's going to end next year. Now, that's really interesting to me because there are going to be lawsuits. We know that. I've gone through this in detail in my videos. I'm not going to re-prosecute that here. There are going to be lawsuits. The eSafety Office is going to say to the tech platforms, you have not taken reasonable steps. You automatically approved too many accounts. We want you to do more. And the tech companies are going to say, no, we have taken reasonable steps. Sue us. And then the government will have to sue them. They'll end up in court. The US government will get heavily involved the way they did when the UK tried to ban encryption. Again, I've covered all of this before. Julie Inman Grant does not want to be there when that dumpster fire rages. She wants to be gone, and she will be. By the time those lawsuits are underway, she'll be gone, out of the role already, riding off into the sunset with whatever golden handshake she gets, moving into some other highly paid government position that she's doubtless not qualified for as well. The fact that she is happily walking away from this role and from this department says to me that she doesn't expect her current losing streak to turn around anytime soon. I think that this whole debacle will run from about now till about 2028. It will never get fully implemented. It will never be nearly as strict and as tight as the Australian government wants it to be. And at the most, it will run up until the next US election. And if someone like a JD Vance or a Marco Rubio wins the next US election, the Australian government will abandon the whole thing at that point, because they will realize what they'll be hoping for with these lawsuits is delay. A Democrat wins the presidency, and maybe the tech companies can be forced to back down. But if JD Vance or Marco Rubio wins the next US presidential election in late 2028, then at that point, you're going to see the Australian government roll over. I don't ever expect that this will get implemented all the way.
Well, what I find really interesting is they've just added a bunch of platforms. So Reddit's going to be banned, but I'm just reading here, messaging services like Discord and WhatsApp and gaming platforms like Lego Play and Roblox will not be included. Roblox is known to be the biggest pedophile hangout. These kids can still access, they can still access Pornhub. And the crazy thing is, right? So, and then I read something here, I was trying to find it. I think Kick is banned. Oh no, so Twitch is banned, but not Kick, and they're both streaming platforms. So
it's extremely arbitrary.
But what they're basically saying is like they're locking out a competitor for no other reason than like, oh, we've deemed that one evil, therefore they're losing part of their market share because of the government. The government can't do that. That'll go straight to the High Court and be overturned immediately.
There's going to be so many lawsuits.
Yeah, like the more I hear about this, the more I'm like, this is so embarrassing for the government, because they're like, oh, we're doing it for the kids. And I'm like, then why are you allowing Roblox and Pornhub? Like, they're the two. Why are those two allowed?
It is going to be an absolute clusterfuck. Sorry for the expression, but it is. But we already knew that, and I called that very, very early on. And it's kind of funny watching the mainstream media and more elements of the alternative media coming around to that same position as the date approaches. They're finally going, oh, hang on. Now they can see that the pieces have moved in the way that they have. It's like, well, that was obvious when this got announced. But okay, nice to have everyone on the same page now.
It's like everything. Sorry, go.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think we missed this comment earlier on the previous topic about that woman saying, can I want compensation for those 10 years. Found Hope says, so can I sue my ex for stealing my lad years? As we did split up and I had to pay child support for 18 years. Not much fun or spare cash in those times. Yeah, and look, I don't know your situation in particular, Found Hope, but I know that in these sorts of situations, parental alienation can be a huge problem. And there are situations where they'll happily sit there and take the cash for 18 years, but deny access and all sorts of nonsense and games that goes on. The whole system's really broken. No, I don't want them to be able to sue. I don't want you to be able to sue them for stealing your lad years. But I certainly, there is a lot wrong with the legal system and the family system at the moment. So, yeah, that's a tough break.
I was just thinking then, I don't want to jump back onto that topic, but when it comes to traditional relationships, there's definitely a push towards people sort of going away from this, girl boss and lad era. Like more and more people going, I just want to find my person and like opt out of all of this shenanigans and all this craziness. Well, wouldn't you know it? Back again, you could not help yourself, could you? I get it. I am absolutely ridiculously good looking. So you should probably go and subscribe. And whilst you're there, maybe shout us a coffee. I have to put up with this guy every week, twice a week, for you and your entertainment, much to my displeasure. But alas, I do it because I am a virtuous soul and you're welcome. So please subscribe and tell other people to go watch because I need help.